starting to wind down, but spring sports are just heating up. How are you guys? Thanks for tuning in on this brand new episode of Mighty Mac Week in Review. My name's Dave Molinaro, joined as usual by my partner, Britt Merkel.
Women's lacrosse played 2 CSAC games this past week, starting with Centenary. Let's take a look.
Don't blink an eye. Just 23 seconds into the game, Alyssa Petito gets the scoring started as she completes this wraparound goal to put the Mighty Macs up 1-0. Petito became the 10th player in school history to reach 100 points. She doesn't just score, she gets assists as well. Alyssa Petito dumps it off to Hannah Varecki, who finishes right in front of the net to put the Mighty Macs up 4-0 just 5 minutes into the game. The Macs continued the impressive display as they scored the first 8 goals of the game. This one from Alison Jakovic, one of her 4 on the day. The Mighty Macs don't just score, they do it on the other side as well. Goalie Christine McIntyre makes this great sprawling save in front of the goal to send the game into the locker room, with Immaculata holding an 11-3 lead. Hannah Varecki puts the game on ice for the Mighty Macs in the second half with this pass from Kelly Lapp, who was named the CSAC Weekly Honor Roll. The Macs finished up with a win by a score of 17-5.
On Saturday, the Macs beat Keystone by a score of 20-7 to clinch their third straight playoff berth. During that game, Danielle Lopez became the all-time leading scorer in the program, so congratulations. We also called up with Sam Bonvetti in studio to talk women's lacrosse. Here it is. By Sam Bonvetti, a senior on the Immaculata women's lacrosse team. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me, Dave.
So the women's team last week won all your games. You clinched the playoffs for the third straight year. The team's kind of clicking on all cylinders right now. What are some of the things you need to do to finish strong and head into the playoffs?
Some definitely things we need to do to finish strong is our defense is going to come in clutch towards these playoff games, and patience on offense, and just getting the goals that we need to move on and continue into higher seed in the playoffs.
And with seeding, there's a big game on Thursday. Can you tell the crowd at home a little bit about that?
It's going to be our senior game on Thursday at 7 o'clock at Draper Ross Stadium. And we have all our seniors that we're representing. There's just 6 of us, and we'd love all the support if you guys would come out. It's a big game against Marywood, and hopefully with this win coming up, that it'll place us on a higher seed for a playoff spot.
Yeah, it is a big game. And your career's starting to wind down now. You guys know she's a member of the women's soccer team, women's basketball team, women's lacrosse team. A lot of great moments in your sports career here. If you could boil it down to like one favorite sports moment at Immaculata, which would you pick and why?
Oh my gosh, there's so many. If I had to pick one, I'd definitely probably say the Madison Square Garden game that we did as the women's basketball team. Went to New York this past winter, and it was just an unbelievable experience, I think, for everyone on the team. So I'd definitely say that's probably my favorite movie.
Once in a lifetime.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right, Sam, good luck the rest of the way with the season and then the playoffs next week.
Thank you so much.
The softball and baseball teams both had very busy weeks. Here's a look at how they did.
The softball team went 4-2 last week with sweeps over Cairn and Keystone, along with 2 losses to Newman. Anne-Marie Barteau continued her great rookie season with 10 hits and 9 RBIs, including a 3-run home run against Keystone. The Macs will travel to Cedar Crest before hosting Centenary and Notre Dame later this week.
The baseball team won all 4 games this past weekend, a 3-game sweep of Cairn, and they finished off a season sweep of Gwinnett Mercy on Monday. They have won 6 consecutive CSAC games and moved into first place in the conference with a 7-2 CSAC record. The Macs have done it with the offense scoring 47 runs over their past 4 games. We got a chance to talk to junior Rob Wallace about the team's recent play.
I'm joined here by Coach Brian Torsani and junior Rob Wallace of the Immaculata baseball team. Guys, thanks for coming on.
You're welcome. No problem.
So right now we're 7-2 in conference, just had a couple big series. Rob, can you tell us about this past week of play?
Well, we had a series against Cairn. We finished the sweep against them. 3 good games for us. Offense has been looking good. Yesterday we had our single game against Gwinnett Mercy that we had to finish from the other week, and we were able to finish that sweep also, winning 13-10. Offense looked good, and a lot of guys really stepped up for us yesterday, and just shows really how deep our team is, and that's really going to come in handy down the stretch, especially with 3 weekends left to go, leading into the CSAC playoffs.
And then, Coach, one of the biggest opponents this year has been Mother Nature. You know, there's been a lot of cancellations, postponings, a lot of games in a short period of time. How do you approach a game from that perspective?
I mean, first of all, I got to give our players a lot of credit. I mean, that can be something that's difficult to handle. Obviously guys want to play, and games kept getting postponed, kept getting canceled, but I think the results are showing on the field because of the work we were able to put in inside the training facility and on the turf and in the other places where we're able to work on our craft. So, nothing changes for us when we get on the field, whether it's beautiful weather or bad weather. We're looking to play one pitch at a time and stay focused and see what happens at the end. We try not to worry about the score during the game. We figure we take care of our own business, and the score will take care of itself.
Guys, thank you for coming on. Good luck the rest of the way.
Thanks, Dave.
The baseball team will host Swarthmore tomorrow before a 3-game weekend series against Centenary.
Let's head over to men's lacrosse. They had 2 games this past week against Keystone and Rosemont, both CSAC games. Let's take a look.
Against the Giants, Sam Zingaro wasted no time in getting the Mighty Macs going as he scores over the defense for the 1-0 Immaculata lead, his first 2 goals on the day. After taking a 7-1 lead at the end of the first quarter, the Macs didn't slow down as Mike Reardon feeds Tyler Black cutting to the net, who scores one of his 4 goals on the day. Immaculata would take a commanding 13-1 lead into halftime. You scratch my back, I scratch yours. This time, Black returns the favor to Reardon, who fires an impressive underhand shot that finds the back of the net to extend the Immaculata lead 14-1 in the third quarter. Reardon finishes off the scoring for Immaculata with his 8th point on the day in transition on a feed from John Holber as the Macs defeated Keystone 16-4 for their first CSAC win. On Saturday, the Macs hosted Rosemont, and with the game tied 4-4 in the second quarter, CSAC Player of the Week and Mighty Mac of the Week, Brendan Doyle makes a great move to escape his defender and score one of his 4 goals on the day to put Immaculata up 5-4. With the score tied again in the third quarter at 8-all, Mike Reardon flicks a perfect pass over the top of the defense to Ben Lorario, who scores to put Immaculata up 9-8. The Macs continued their big third quarter as Doug Hughes splits 2 defenders with the shake and bake for one of his 4 goals on the day and an 11-8 lead. Holding a slim lead late in the game, goalie Christian Custodio makes his best save of the game to preserve the 14-12 Immaculata win.
The men's lacrosse team has 2 CSAC games left in their season against Centenary and Newman, and with those 2 wins, they'll clinch their first playoff berth since 2011.
And the men's tennis team dropped a pair of CSAC matches this week to Baptist Bible and Newman. They look to play Marywood today in their final CSAC match of the season.
Let's run on over to outdoor track and field, Dave. Their second outdoor meet of the season at Westchester University. Let's take a look.
Diana Cusick led the team with a 3rd place finish in the 1500 meter and an 8th place in the 800. Gabby Macera also finished 8th in the 400 meter. Angel Chamal Rodriguez continued his impressive year with a 3rd place finish in the 1500, and Alex Felderstein placed 10th in the shot put.
Track team's next event is tomorrow at Gwinnett Mercy University.
The golf team will compete twice this week, one tournament this afternoon and another next Monday to finish off their regular season.
There's a lot of games and matches coming up this week, so make sure you go on GoMuddyMax.com to get the schedule. That looks like it's going to be all for this week's episode of Muddy Mac Weekend Review. My name's Dave Molinaro.
And I'm Brett Merkel.
And Go Max.